Yeah. We'll say in Tibetan 2 times, and in English 1 time after the Tibetan. In English, on page number 11, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, I take the Dharma and the Sangha. By the merit created this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient beings survive in equanimity, purifies attachment and anger. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, encircled by the 4 continents, surmounted by the sun and the moon. I visualize this Buddha feel and operate. May all living beings enjoy the pure land. Idam Bolorana Kameyadaya.
Oh, yeah, that's how much they look. Any term the Monani, Roma, some Roma, Tariq, some Roma woman, the two name the she when it was. They don't get from the energy around them secret. Come to the more saison, several saison, and the dramatically wasn't tree. Tariq, no bottom about the 20 times chicken. Jitam chicken saison, something that is out. So soon, that is on that song, to the young Tari, other pay, ultimate patchini. 어떤 지다 나이는 소리가 등을 먹었어요. 선데 되게 고민이 있지.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me again here this morning in this cyberspace. It's so good to have you all. And we're going to do our today's practice. And what I'd like to encourage you, I request you to do is that keep it current corona pandemic in your mind, and think of this suffering, going on suffering. Then turn your attention, your mind of seeking for protection or refuge. To the light is represents all the compassionate qualities and wisdoms and all the Buddha's light and deeds of Aryantara. And they imagine that through the light and from by the power of the light and all sentient beings suffering, and particularly in this case, is a pandemic, corona pandemic has been reduced or removed, and then so thereby the all sentient beings are regained their health, and particularly those who are suffered by the caused by coronavirus, and in general think that the sufferings, the causes of sufferings, all sentient beings being removed by the power of Aryantara.
Dore bunları duruzu, dore bunları duruzu.
so 대랑 그 조가도 같이 제다 했던 안에 뭔가를 막 전부 주시니 조 어디가로 김토 시고텔 많이 넣어야 될 까리는 여름 부시고 콩쿠르 선지 보러 된다 야워 정글 부시고 그런 가던 갈로 나온 거 정도 다가 콩쿠르 로다가 된데 송치고 될라 무시게 달로 냠데 좀 되려고 말했지 근데 상아랑라 남기 공라 지금 네 와랑라 지 콩쿠르 다 냠바지네 대봉아랑라 총도 영지 공지 많이 직동도 전화 무슨 소파다 되게 생각해 공기뉴 되지시는 거 공부송 되자당 아주 섬이 대랑 안에 장군 직지 샵했던 거던 로아 섬수도 되 기용하던 안에 티셔츠 먹은 내내 많이 직동도 있을 때 알아도 이거 된 띵헌땡에 대해서 삼로 동동 공부를 받고 가라까지 전부 그런 거 솔직히 좀 선호해 보죠.
Okay. We're going to do something today different. Let me turn around. First of all, discuss about the stages of meditation or some sort of instructions to show you how you should properly practice meditation. And then after that, I'm going to encourage you and ask you to join me. Say the 1,000 times mantra recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum, the sixth syllable of Buddha Avalokiteshvara, the Compassion Buddha. And to celebrate His Holiness Dalai Lama's the 85th birthday. And the reason meditation, in fact, is the request by His Holiness Dalai Lama, and because every year and the people who
인질아
스카이프는 싫어.
아
스카이프는 싫어.
네 스카이프 말해 스카이프
싫어.
말해 네 가운데도
꼭 하고
하고
가운데 스카이프
네 가르치래 가르치죠
가는
네 무슨
스카이프 같이 어디지?
인질아
스카이프 같이
스카이프 같이
꼭
인질아 인질아 네 스카이프 디치다 고체다 스카이프 디 게 요소다 오야스
다그래도
스카이프 디 다요아치 아니 디 줌 디 그라미아치 줌 디 코디 체로도
줌 그다음에지
가이다 줌 디 트리카네신
뭐야?
트레나 줌 디
줌 미치인다
야야 다 숨겨야 양이 곤이 숨샤나 차딩 치 코마스
뭐야 Oh, thank you, Kumasan.
Huh?
Oh, okay. My apology, and I should mute myself in the wrong place. Okay. So today I'm going to do two things. I invite you to do two things, and the first goal. No.
Where is Geshe-la?
Oh, we lost the Geshe-la, right?
And we can't hear you. Yeah.
You can you hear me? No? So then I can't mute the Zoom. Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Everybody, okay.
We can see Geshe-la.
Yeah, Geshe-la, just
Nishida will see you will see it soon. It's reconnecting.
랭이 오면 되게 아플라.
나.
어때? 나도 랭이 오면 뭐 통화 지나디 용구면 다 암종년은 되겠지.
So Geshe-la says the connection is no good at their end, so they're going to do this way. Geshe-la. Oh yeah. The voice. La. Oh yeah. Okay. So the people in the Zoom, you can hear me, right? Okay. Good. Yes. So number one, I'm going to first of all. By the way, today I'm not going to discuss about the training of the mind. Instead, and I'm going to ask you to do two things with me. First, and to learn and or review and some of the important things or the features of the meditation practice. Meaning, I'm going to give you and discuss about the stages of meditation, and meaning the important things you should know about meditation practice. So then after that, I'm going to invite you join me to say 1,000 times 6-syllable mantra of Buddha of Compassion, Avalokiteshvara's heart mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. And as the celebration of His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama's 85th birthday. Okay. And the reason I ask you to, invite you to do this mantra recitation as a celebration for His Holiness Dalai Lama is not my idea or is not my own creation. In fact, it is advised by His Holiness Dalai Lama himself, because every year on July 6th, and people around the world and they want to celebrate His Holiness Dalai Lama, and usually they want to do the traditional way, the classical way. But His Holiness Dalai Lama always try to take this opportunity, encourage his devotees and people who loves him, and to his birthday, not as just a formal sort of a social activity or some kind of social event, but rather as a spiritual practice. So without exception today, and this time, His Holiness Dalai Lama also advised, he says, because of the coronavirus, we can't have a social gathering as a formal celebration, the official celebration. However, and we can do this online. And but the way we do this, His Holiness Dalai Lama said, if you really if you really want to celebrate my birthday, give me a present. The best present that I can ever get is you meditate on compassion. Okay? So meditate on compassion is the best present ever you can give to me. End quote. And so because of His Holiness Dalai Lama encouraged us to celebrate his birthday in this way, so therefore I'm going to invite you and practice the Heart Sutra, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara with me for 1,000 times. And then, as I said, while before that, I'm going to discuss about the stages of meditation or the important features of meditation. And please pay closer attention to me.
어때? 대사당 아주 곰 땅 아주 남지 딱 주는 다운의 몽고도 깔리 잡네 년거를 미라지 신라마시데 시고를 세지니 건들 아주 티와지니 티위 돈데 영트 삼로 땅제 삼비 돈데 영트 소송 sem낭 니완이 존나 따때 되네데 곰지 거레스 티체는 소송 sem낭 니완이 존나 티 니모네 존데 소소 거래 잡았다 베나 형지를 세구나 당고 형지 세데 뭐 암종 고만용나 지만미 시고나 티 형지 시게데 하쇼 잡아티기 잘라그로래다 시에티 결혼 년지 뒤돈도 삼로땅 이 샘도 돈도 타정 주 삼라 코스와이나 이 녀모는 양지 결혼 받고 결혼 차다 근데 때 양도 곰지 삼로 양도 야르기 땅 포와이나 아니를 비 수수결라 통용 거 양지도 통나 tel라 때네 점핑 기심 섬김을 줘서 점핑 양지 섬대용도 통하나 tel라 때네 니와지 중거 니와 돈도 랑진 탐지 자님 그 섬다와 등 때네 전라 판선 하고 판선지 타와 때네 정거 때네 소외나 ngarangu tanda tajurji maliram bochi tanda litin de tumni dela teni namsul chaparjan de da samyang jila suba de chongtwa sherbla suba chongtwa de ngadu litin dela teni mi litin dela tin chong de tulu ro de kya de bana tin litin namshi de kola yorda litin digana shawat chibi niwa yomar de ngadu litin de zacha moy bi shot sana ngadu litin de saching zacha bo yang dela teni dagt zamne chikhin chini shoji chini ngasni nili shose li de chang be rang matang perang tende ani jire de tangbo 종사 de pami 컨트롤네 종네 뜨야 야기 손이 타마데 된 중앙으로 사치 메론다 팀들 동바 창도 가지고 카트로 다 기와네 종데 카마트 빌리 카마트 파트 가지고 난시 때텔라네 샤와드 세트비랑 때 가지고 배추 역고 땅네 암소 역고 정도 줄 때까지 모래 오늘 담봉을 지기요.
Excuse me. So before the meditation, again, we need to set up the stages or some kind of build up some kind of foundations for our meditation practice. Without exception, again, here, and we have to start everything by build up a correct understanding, a correct point of view. And that is, in order to successfully meditate, we have to know that the meditation and the successful meditation practice or some kind of a transformative and meditative practice has to be depend upon the foundational work. That is, first of all, you have to go through the process of hearing. Okay, hearing, the meaning that collect the data, collect the information, and collect the knowledge, the ideas and concepts, and build up them correctly. Once you searching, sort of gathering, get to the adequate knowledge, and in this context, of course, about the Buddhist, the doctrine of the Buddha's teaching, and then you need investigating, you need analysis, you need to apply the skills of critical thinking and to investigating, to inquiry and to refine and your perception or your understanding about the data or the information, the concepts that you collected. So you have to do this through go through the process of contemplation or the thinking or the critical reviewing. So meaning that you have to thinking again and again, make sure make sense, the ideas you learn, the reason and the clearly is aligned with the reasoning, and then finally, and so through the process of contemplation, and then gain a certainty, right? So meaning that you know that the ideas you have learned is very much clear to you, and it is sound, and is firm, and it is confusion free. Right? When you reach that point, the point of the confusion free, and about the particular ideas, teachings, and instructions, then you need, okay, bring that certainty, that sense of certainty and a clear understanding into the actual meditation itself, right? And so that's the process of the meditation, and all the things that you need to build up prior to meditation is go through the process of hearing, and then go through the process of contemplation, or the thinking, or reviewing, or reflecting, and then finally bring to meditation. So, for example, like the qualities of compassion, for instance, right? In order to practice compassion, you have to hear, learn, understand what is compassion, right? And so, what are the unique features of it? And how the Buddhists defined the compassion, right? You need to understand really what is compassion is all about, and its unique characteristics, right? And then when you feel that you got a clear idea, you have a good understanding about it, and then investigate your understanding, right? And question about your understanding. See whether you truly understand how well you understood that very concept of compassion, right? And then reach to the point that now you know really compassion is all about. You know, it's a unique characteristics in the silence meditation, and or the whatever the forms of meditation, and then you to sort of refine and enhance, right? And that very understanding. So this way, your practice of your understanding of compassion, your your understanding of compassion is becoming your own. Is it becoming your own individual's quality, the actual the power yourself? Now you own it, okay? But prior to this, if you don't just remain and in the collective information level, or keep skeptical about it and remain contemplating, and then you're not if you're not able to, right, transform that understanding and into your own, make it become your own quality, then it's somebody else's gift or somebody else's production, and it's not yours, right? So our goal is, obviously, we want to transform ourselves with such a power, right? And so let this power of compassion become our own. So therefore, we need to hear study and learning what is compassion clearly, and then contemplating or investigating inquiry, or analysis what the compassion is all about, and how to define it, and to reach the point where you have no doubt and day and night, and just live with it, stay with it, live with it. So this way, and then you can really see this compassion is no longer, the idea of compassion is no longer just a beautiful concept, or some kind of thing which makes you feel good about it, but rather you feel it's the energy. You feel it is no longer an idea, but rather it's actual power. It's it's something that's a sort of capable burst, and it bursts you up, and so it inspires you and motivates you, and give you an inexhaustible and power and the strength, and so then you can naturally live with this strength, live with this power, and live with this aspiration, and because it is power now, and you can direct wherever you can and you should to benefit others. So this way, see, and the compassion idea of compassion is no longer idea, concepts, or spiritual and the belief right itself. And so we need to understand this, and we must know it is possible. We can do it. Okay? When you're encountering with any form of challenges and obstacles, you have to remember to think that, I definitely can do this. I can definitely go through this, because after all, compared to all other beings, especially compared to the animal beings, and the form of a body, right, and I have is absolutely very precious. Right? Although all the animal beings and they have a consciousness just like me, so as far as consciousness is concerned, we are equal. But the power of the consciousness, me as a human being, right, compared to the animal, and absolutely is very powerful and has a great potentials and very well sort of conditioned. And this is because the form of body I have obtained in this lifetime is called a precious human rebirth, which endured with 8 leisure and 10 freedoms. So therefore, I can do it. I definitely can do it. Is with this understanding and keeping the mind, and then so you have to also on the top of that, you must tell yourself that whenever you feel this being challenged again, the obstacles and sort of push you back, right? So you must remember that yourself. This body, right? I must use it for a great reason and for a good purpose, right? Because if I don't use it and just take it to keep it, and it's going to be no any good value and good use. And you also need to be aware of that. Essentially, your understanding regarding your body and is involved with the 4 misperceptions. Right? And that is your body is being clean and the sources of pleasure and is permanent and is inherently existent or has some form of autonomous I or and person. And you know that all those are misperception and wrong ideas. So, however, even if our body is not far being clean, right? Not the sources of pleasure and not permanent and not a self-operating entity, but it is very useful and it has a tremendous value. So now it's up to us to how to use it. And so you must determine that I'm going to use this and for a very great cause and a higher purpose.
인자다 대롱 공자데 저 당부 참여지도 공매 참여지 공을서 당부 심지는 랑니 대화도 받는 심지 담지 대화도 그래 랑니 등음도 봐 심지 담지 등음도 봐 지파레 삼로도 땅 삼로도 따 랑니 그 년점나 옆에 랑땅다 자창을 파마를 붙이게 되니 종대 소소가 도보를 나처리 김치를 파르비 야티는 잡고 파겠지 아무도 미참 오직 삼로동다 소소 틀어요 때 특파작사다 노라사사도 주지 마심지 담지 공작사도 철로나랑도 찾아잡아도 요들이 지금부터 지노르도 아니 이와 때라 소소지 선지상지 세바든 타랑즈는 배 오침침도 실름지기서 요 사람들 소소 틀어요 그 지금 법정 용사를 개인데 파왔다 지면로제 띵이 노트 오늘지나 소소랑 일라 카티크 조바 검사지나면 현지 검사제만 소소랑 일라 년도만 어떤이 용어를 연든 정사때 다가랑 소소도 선지 상태 세바 좀더 돈바식제 돈이 통합자 탐박을 그 연든데 단다 왔던 가서 내려데 지금 지금 연든데 이제 럼베지네 단다 왔던 가서 이태 용어 다 로조도 통사때 용어 어때서도 소소 당분 년도만 요비트 선진 탐잖아 몸지니 또 탐지 잔임 임바등이 좀 잔임도 semt도 되는다 아니 되는 알아지 나 지금 원룸제도 내들 서로 가는 용구나 어다 소소 젤리 소소 지젤리 하가버스 마토에나 소소 잔임도 지제터 버때 제 잔임도 지제터는 선지 탐지 랑징 그 코냐병도 니랑 사방도 마 냠소도 랑징 삼라 시디지 용 시디 티장용으로 가려고 다 아니 랑 등을만도 봐는 선지 탐지 등을만도 봐래 근데 등을 일단도 삼도 좀 디노 양지 세고 데다 양지 또 고마이나 어제 등을 통으로 소소선 앞에 들어왔지 만들어 된죠 어때 때는 레벨레벨한데 년당년이 저 파트 서로 동용 선지 동용 받더니 파 달라서 발라티 서로 용특고요 어때 때 선지다 jan지가 대화 통으로서 내기 대화 통으로서 수sem나 가와기용으로 뜻mat는데 대화되나 서비스하는 그 샴바를 그 맞는 샴바도 영지 고민되나 아니 전 무슨 소박하는 같은 차도 기억나도 님부터 지금 냠진의 차도 모양과 뒤잡나 같은 지스이런 거 가와용고 가와진의 소소랑 기보진 기보甚至他们自己用过，对这个，我对这个，说的这个，当过的年把起，但是下半年的，搞的他们就对我们真的，他们就对我们这对年的，那个就蛮多意思。
So the way we're going to practice meditation is our object of meditation today is the 4 immeasurable thoughts. 4 immeasurable thoughts is the object of meditative practice. And as we know that the 4 immeasurable thoughts is the greater way and most effective way to develop compassion. And how we began to do that, reflect upon the unique content of each 4 immeasurable thoughts. Number 1, like may all sentient being, right, free from suffering, causes of suffering. So at this point in your meditation, you must think that the suffering is something that everybody is experiencing, and just like you do not want that to happen to you, and similarly all others are and wish to do the same thing, right? So try to get the essence. The point is just like you do not wish and any bad things happen to you and experience any form of misery, so do exactly the others. Okay? So get this point and keep that point, and then deepening that very point. Okay? And then so as a sort of some kind of extra or external supportive condition, and you created to reinforce your understanding is you should think that when we think about may all sentient beings free from suffering and causes of suffering, remember the way you truly can develop this power, right, and understand this point, and then see the qualities of this practice is not think of something far away, but rather, okay, and turn your right and the left and look at the people around you. Take that very individual, right, all the individuals, and ask the actual object of your meditation. So you wish that when we say prayer, may all sentient beings free from suffering, cause suffering. At this point, so take the person right sit next to you, right, or around you, and wish that real person, right, such as your wife, right, your husband, or your children, and your family member, anyone who is next to you, that's your actual object of meditation. So you need to meditate, take them as your object of meditation, right, and wish him or her or them free from suffering and causes of suffering, right? And usually, this is the funny thing we do as a spiritual practitioner, and when we meditate, we think of far away the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, right? We feel it, so we sort of immediately feels very great about it, and then meditate on them, but we ignore the person next to us, right? We're seeking for the compassion, loving kindness, and far away, and but forgot that actually person right next to you is the greatest source of compassion, right? He or she, them, actually is the one who can support you to achieve your goal, your goal of your meditation and the practice of compassion. So therefore, ignore the all sentient being or person right next to you, right? Start with someone and you live with, right? And you work with and you deal with, but the meditate on Buddha, Bodhisattva for compassion or try to develop compassion. That essentially is wrong. Okay? That is essentially wrong. But the real practice is that think that all the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, right? And then they are, and the qualities of them, right? And they can be achieved and developed by really practice the Buddha's compassion and other qualities and taught by Buddha and the examples set up by Bodhisattvas. And through the person next to us, we deal with it, right? Our basic general habits is that we admire, right, have a tremendous respect to something that is far away, but we sort of treat and our people we live in under the same roof as for the argument, right, and being sort of mean and not really and treated with greater respect, right. And at least view them as the great source of for your own the development of compassion, which of course is wrong. We know that the person and right next to us, we have any form of relationship is indeed the actual source of our the spiritual accomplishment. This is, for example, like Buddha Shakyamuni. Right, and as a historical figure, he appeared to the world about 2,500 years ago. But see, Buddha transmitted, taught his realization, right, his wisdom and compassion quality, and to his disciple, and then from his disciple and taught to their disciple, and all the way come to today. Then you see there's the relationship between humans to humans, right? We receive this qualities because of the person you met with, and you can make a connection, you contact with, right? So therefore, thinking Bodhisattvas virtually and Buddhas far away, but ignore or pay less attention to the person next to you, and for the sake, in order to develop compassion, which is, as I said again, and is wrong. So therefore, we must. By reflecting on may all sentient beings free from sufferings and the causes of suffering, may all sentient beings endowed with the happiness and the causes of happiness, right? And then may all sentient beings, so like the free from the never separate from the happiness and the sources of happiness, and finally, in the male sentient beings free from the attachment, aversion, and so on and so forth. So reflect these four versions, right, and step by step, and then meanwhile, and examine the changes, transformations taking place in your mental continued, okay, and see what's going on, right. And so the proper practice or the successful meditation on the four immeasurable thoughts should be, when you reach the end, should be made to your mind is very much equal and or neutralized, and being sort of equanimity, right? Now you experience the clear equanimity. When you begin to experience, right, by reflecting the four immeasurable thoughts and the teachings one by one, and finally, and you see now you are being sort of promoted or being brought to the stage where now you experience the clear sense of equanimity. Then you got it, okay? Then you need to dwell in or maintain on that stage of equanimity, and then think about the further, right? And to develop the deeper and compassion. Why? Because see, when you brought yourself to the point where you make no distinctions, no discrimination, say, oh, I love them because of my loved ones, or they are they, and who are they? When all this sort of divisions, right, and you create with your mind is gone, is removed. Now you are genuinely feel everyone absolutely equal. Then you are now you are in the perfect position, and to further reflect on the compassion in the deeper level. Okay, why? Because now you are neutral. You're not to a particular individual or group or thing, and you're not necessarily, you don't have any sense of aversion or rejections to anyone and a particular group or individuals, but you see everyone absolutely as equal, right? So then from this you can develop the pure love, right, and the compassion. So the love is here that when you feel, right, that it's a pure love, then this love will give you a tremendous power and energy and motivation to encourage you to approach them and to address any sufferings and miseries they're experiencing. And so at the same time, so your practice also will make you feel naturally you want to bring the joy and happiness to others. This is the characters of metta or the compassion, the kindness, right? So when you're experiencing that great power based upon the equality, equanimity, the stages from the mental state of equality, and then you began to feel the deep compassion, and that motivates you to address any being, right? And start with the person next to you, and address their sufferings, and then at the same time also, and from this stage of equality, a state of equality, and you also experience that strong power or motivation. You want to give bring the happiness to others, make somebody be happy, and that the power of kindness. So this quality of kindness naturally will free you from one of the worst and destructive, afflictive emotion, that is jealousy. You will not experience any slight sense of jealousy, but rather you will genuinely feel that, oh, how wonderful, because your mind essentially is not attached to a particular thing and not reject anything, and rather you are in the greatest state of equanimity.
Tangi tanda siya no jita tandang ngarang dungun jone pe tab labo de kawa tangdan ba sangji chumdan de ngisi shomba no jawa tham chi thimba de je jiktin diga shone tanda kitsitani da ko tani khazang ga ni chi kemba tang stiwi yondan den damlong la chapchi ni mimang la ti de chitni da da de sa de de chit matni khazang ga pe samjim chi yondan da tham chi matni damlong diga la chapti badang di de chit ma song long chot ber so ti chet ne khazang ti chap da ba zapatni gyor so sa tin sam chi ne ne ngol mani doing.
Yeah. Okay. So keep the what I discussed before in mind, and then make sure you sort of bring yourself into that state of equanimity, and then reflecting upon the compassion and kindness in the deeper level, and develop the altruism. And with that altruism, and then you say the mantras of Om Mani Padme Hum, and the compassion, the mantras of Buddha of compassion. And as your gesture, for your participation of His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama's 85th birthday gift, right? And so the thing that's again we needed to think about is that how fortunate we are, to have such a remarkable individual, right? And the historical Buddha, of course, no longer with us, but the 14th His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama, and very fortunately, and come in and as our spiritual master, and so we know that how compassionate he is, right? Just reflect on His Holiness Dalai Lama from a quality point of view. First of all, thinking that how the compassion, the power of the qualities of compassion of His Holiness Dalai Lama, right? And then also think of the wisdom, right? The quality of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Right? His Holiness Dalai Lama is a combined, or is the combination of the union of the compassion and the wisdom. And then, of course, that because of this quality, as we know that how what kind of impact, right, in His Holiness Dalai Lama and being brought to the world and impacted the millions of individuals' life, and particularly the great contributions he made and to the mankind in terms of the peace and compassion and the prosperity and happiness, and so therefore we really have a solid reason, right, and to reflecting upon these two the great qualities of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and then develop a strong admiration and devotion to him, and wish him long life, and also prayer that may his enlightened deeds and can spread all over the world, and benefits and everyone and on planet Earth. And then have this in your mind, and then say the 6 syllables of mantra of Buddha compassion.
그래서 엄마네 법네 함지 이게 돈도 엄세한테 이게 마 어서 무슨 냠 잡아요. 되게 리그는 있으면 좋다 보라. 상지 엄마네 법네 엄티 엄세한테 이게 있으면 이게 섬냠대 좀 들어. 나로지 마지 아스모도 냠대 좀때 리그는 있으면 좋다 보라지. 되게 장하고 다지 계획이 나가시 다지 리그는 있으면 한지가 요마. 리그는 있으면 네 많이 밤에 혼자 많이 세대 제땅하네 상스쿠리 그래라 때 맞으나 르보치 세를 좀 르보치 때 가는 정보는 양지 정보 양지 때 강자 르보치 르보치 조요나 티게 전티 망보고 레와 공토와나 양지 전부 gelati 온수 심지 망보고 모든 접촉을 텔라 갈와메 바이 공토고 많이 밤마세때 메토 그 말에 메토디 존중 가르제 메토든 남디 기전 남기 마키요 좀 랑진 사와지 때리 장마지 때자 나도 셈비 땅나 아니 나도 랑진 셰르브세 셰르브세 집도 셈디 요마가 머리피 엉도 송도는 때리 좀 이나라 이 셰르브세 코롱 닐기때 가르지 원디 계령어서 코롱지 때리 머리피 좀 마키와 이 사워시 비차지래도 딜라 때니 이 사워시 비차도 원디 계령나 샤와칸다 편지라 전에 논치메 비쇼틀라 루트인데 든지 차로 때서다 홈세 띠가서 우리가 홈세 때 된종 묻던 아주 남바상지 된종 세계에서 된종 동안 오로 도도도 집발로지 때서다 때는 종화점인자 랑진지 주바 코랑다 랑진지 주바 파쇼나 요 말에 때서 여러 랑진지래 여러한자 직실에 때다면 여러 때서다 아주 셈 마롱만 지금 미차도 참아 르비 여러 탭진이 셈 장보 뭐 셰르브 양지원 접특고요래. 된 접특고요자 어디던 상로 땅에 엄마네 밥는 하면서 되게 링을 있으면 그 로아 칸당간다 지금 잠시와요나 뜻참아 링파 섬당 향지게 장은 되네 지 장고소한 거서지 말로 잡. 대자도 긴 종콩 양지게 응합은 좀 세나면 또 잔디스 송그래도 자리에서 현직을 하거든. 진짜 다 정보를 붙이에 내가도 땅에 도지 뭐이 내가도 지금 나지기를 미 넘버 자리에서 미 넘버 샤와지겠다. 어때 검진이 그런 것 같네. 어느 많이 보는 특별히 자리에서 샤워지 보면 티트가네. 이게 그마도 티 많이 보는 이게 그마도 그런 마 파는 가능도 소소랑이 정도 도와리 탐 지gel라 빠지는 이 gel라 손에 이 선도와리 그 탐지 샴담 양지 gel라기네 심지 탐지 지금 섬담 땅 알로 좀 쉬워 섬도 또 처만 결화 탭지네 남는 시디담 내지 담비 딱 배상도 남는 계속 섬들이 좀 더 보시라 어디 이 사와도 탐지 그선 그지랑 담아 잡을 게 있었던 거 있다 그런 거가 됐다.
Now let's move to this actual task, the meditation. Firstly, again, and we needed to learn about what the Om Mani Padme Hum, the 6 syllables means, right? And the meaning of, basic meaning of the mantra. Om actually is it's consisting of the 3 letters. There's O, A, yes. So A-U, O, that's the words. So what this means, you can see that in Tibetan, there's like the vowel and the consonants there, and so those represent that each individual's body, speech, and mind. Right? So when you say Om, remember that's to represent the speech, body, speech, and mind of you. And so we as a human being, or as an individual, and actually our body, speech, and mind is the basis of our designation or our labeling, right? And so we impute, right? We impute that we as an individual, and it is based upon those 3 things: body, speech, and mind. Okay, so remember that. And so Om, when you said Om, that's reflect upon your body, speech, and mind. And then the money, just like the Om is Sanskrit, of course, and the money is Sanskrit. And in the Sanskrit, money means preciousness, or jewelry, or jewels. What is it? Jewelry or preciousness or something rare here reflects the compassion. Right? The compassion is a very rare quality and very precious. Right? And it is precious because it's like the wish fulfilling, and we call it wish fulfilling jewels, right? And with the compassion, right, all the things that you desire can be granted, can be achieved. So therefore, practice the compassion, having compassion, is just like you have all the inexhaustible and jewel or treasure, and your all wish is always being fulfilled. So therefore, when you say the money after Om, the money reflect on the compassion. Right? That is the source of all the happiness. And then next syllable, seed syllable is Bame. Bame is flower, lotus flower. Lotus flower is a unique flower, and as we know, and it's growing in the very muddy pond, right? And it's in the water where the place where growing is very dirty, right? And very contaminated. However, by its very nature, right? The nature and the Bama or the lotus flower is growing, right? And take a growth, blossoming, take a greater growing, and in the midst of that contaminated water or pond, and never ever affected by those muddies and polluted or the negative qualities around the Brahma or the lotus flower itself. So what this represents, this represents the wisdom, right? The wisdom itself. Our wisdom is the aspect of our consciousness that is free from confusion, free from ignorance, right? It's merely, purely, and directly reflects the actuality of anything, right? And all the phenomena. So that aspect of purity of our consciousness is represented by the lotus flower, Bema. So when you said Om Mani Bema or Bema, the Bema here, think about it, the innate, right? The pure aspect of the wisdom aspect of your consciousness. And that is free from the confusions and ignorance. And then home. Finally, the last mantra is home. Home represented a dependent origination. Dependent origination. Dependent origination here, we know in Buddhism that everything, every event, whatever that's taking place or happening or maintaining or disappear, everything, anything you can think of is as the result of or is the actual the way it's being and right forming or disappearing, and then based on your experience, that is dependent arising, which is opposite, right? Dependent origination, dependent arising, which is opposite from sort of causeless or from the permanent, some sort of permanent causes or some kind of from nowhere. No, it is not, but rather it is dependently being created and being maintained, and then also dependently being vanished, right? So yes, so these things and events can be formed, can be maintained, and eventually will be dissolved or being disappeared. Now, all this taking place is because of its very nature is dependent origination or dependent arising. And therefore, when you think, which is again, this is not the things, events is there and right and appears, but the appears is not inherently existed as the way they appear to you and in general, generally, but rather it's a reflection actually, and it tells you and anything, any events and that you experience is inherently does not exist. Why is it does not inherently exist? It still appear to you, but dependent arising. It's dependent origination. So therefore, when you say the Om Mani Padme Hum, and remember it's a representation or it's a meaning, a profound meaning. And then we know that because dependent origination, our conditions right now is kind of a challenge, very challenging and it's hard. But because of dependent arising, we can change it, right? This is the nature of the phenomena, right? The thing in the events will change, and so therefore we have the hope we can make it happening, and so by the means of the Buddha's teaching, and we can make it the change and meaning we can transform our current status, right, into the enlightened status, the state of enlightenment. And think of this, and you do this because you want to benefit all sentient beings, right? And so think of a sentient being just like you, and generally speaking, and they are right now is instead of self-powering, or self-governing, and self-powering, they are other-powered. Right? They've been under the control, influenced by the afflictive emotions and ignorance and karma. So then develop a deep compassion for them, right? And based upon your understanding of their current status, the condition, and develop a deep compassion. And So, and that compassion and so that compassion isn't in it's the actual power of yourself, but this compassion at this moment in this practice and by thinking of and meditate on the Buddha of compassion, the Avalokiteshvara. And so Buddha Avalokiteshvara is the manifestation of all the Buddha's compassion, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama is the reincarnation or the manifestation of the embodiment of the Buddha Avalokiteshvara, and he appeared to the world and purposefully coming to help us. And so now you meditate on the vivid image of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then meditate on the heart chakra. Around the heart chakra of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, there appears of Avalokiteshvara, this celestial being, right? The celestial being, and with the four arms, and the chest of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and then you meditate on the celestial being, in the forearm, the Buddha Avalokiteshvara, and then say the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, and then meditate on the powers and blessings of the mantra and the Buddha Avalokiteshvara. And so I imagine that the radiance, the light, and the power, and the wisdom, compassion, and all the troubles of the world, the sufferings of the world, and being removed, and all the happiness and the prosperity, peace, everything is being achieved and obtained. Each individual and throughout the universe, and then so you remain in that state of a great accomplishment. And say the mantra. Of course, I wish that His Holiness Dalai Lama, again, like I said before, wish him long life, and may his enlightened and Bodhisattva deeds continue to prevail and to benefit all sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that Jamba tadang adu kar se sem na Jamba jene Xijing sem tarang samlo tang de mundu te tap tong chi dan shi mayanga jene kamachi kaje ta manin dong los.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember that in any case, any form of meditation, the two crucial things that you have to always apply to your meditation. That is, remember, you have to be mindfulness. Okay, apply the mindfulness and mental introspection. Right? And then that's your meditation. And so then we will say the mantra for about 10 more minutes, and then meditate while we are reciting the mantra.
女多当今人送往这九年，这我几家第三老公公儿手，给我们来成为呢，这人生往真正这所
现在两周一下吧，
身体不多等着去， 유도 내려 다 주진 로에 내내 말로 바다도 중앙 매버쇼
선뜻은 저를 뭐지
마제 번한 지주제 제와년 범에 버려 원내 본도 배워쇼 어원지들 챵바다 본도 상고대 안데 대다 본제 지소다 모제게 와 대다 던제라도 무슨 샤게 야와 와 가나 저도 마 본데 다시 기회
뭐 조시라도 뭐지 아 자세가 그거
Also,
땅가도 정말 그런 요거 좀 상황 그다 문제비 요비 참아를 다 가도 요와 독성도 뭐와 뭐지 지는데 일단 지디고 진짜 그치 다 진짜 되게 왔던
so I guess we did a good job, and so well done. And so let's do the dedication, and then the end of today's practice. Also, we're going to say the prayers of the stages of the path to the enlightenment, in Tibetan, and then we'll do the dedication.
Okay, Lemon prayer on page number 80. Lo me ma re ge don ro nam de ya ve wang bo de ma son be ze ro bon do jang de yang je Yahweh Damba Yuran Zenju Damba Renjen Cho Ye Ma Cho Cha Jan Yang Bo Jur Vi Cho Vi Nyang Ji Chen Bo Ya Ru Chu Ba An Bi Di Sa Wu Shi Si Ji Ya Vi Ma Shong Chen La Zhu Shang Zhu Lang Ji Ren Di Tang Du Nang Ji Yu La Huan Zhi Ya Wen Za Ba Rang De Jiong Yi Lang Zang Zhi Bin Den Jian Zhi Xi Ge Jian Se Xi Ye Da Men Ce Zhe Guan De Ya Vi Ma Ba
nam do lam dang zhe wer ma zhe dang zi da ba zhou la zhi zhu zhe xian zhe la zhou ma li yi lian an ji dao de zhu xi da shi yang zong shao gen zhang zhi ji ba dian zhang wei la ma ren bu ji da bi nian ge ba li dan zhu la da li xin bo guan li ji song de gu song bu ji mi ge za zhi so chang zhi sen po ren bu ji ma ji wa nan ji zhe ji jie wa niang ba me ge yang gong li gong de ge wu shou kan zhe zhe wei gu wei shang gen跟当的我马里用的你站的人天生将所以下边身体帮助人有机要不把握这个人健康更多上报电样的现的得到关键就是道路是夜晚的到他们让的我的生下边要我他们之间我刚刚我玩的半点钟的电把的上的天生就他们就不光上路接工了的见证为你上街担保当都解决起在工作要我中高一说些年我说这边的家园我被老上的年的解决怎样不我被家园担保了可以拿手出钱上面的上去我们必须把嘛的往出生的别这里也有些我的来真的来你们不样的嘛因此大多的那边工作升级大是说네, 오다 대랑 오다 대리치제 네마트니 선이 정글 총거래 진짜 모른다 되는데 많이 더 그래와 요치 아니 저와틀이 오나 가서 지마데 되고 대랑 마스게 본다스
Also, yeah. So that's all for today, and thank you for joining me again in this morning's discussion and practice. And tomorrow is His Holiness Dalai's actual birthday, and I wish you all and then have take a time and do the practice which we tried this morning. And then I apologize that today we have no time for questions, but from the next Sunday we will resume the discussions on the training of the mind, and then we can have time for question and answers.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, interested.
That's all.
That's all interesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.